Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, the great GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host. You already know who it is. It is Kayvon Izami. I hope you all are having an awesome week. I hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend. And now I hope you're settled in and you're listening to this on Wednesday or Thursday, and you're saying, let's go. It is football time. Football is back, and I am so pumped up for it, and I know every single one of you out there listening are too. And guys, this is the first time. I mean, I like to think that we've done a great job all summer, just filling shows with good entertainment, and I don't even want to use the word filling because it sounds like we're just trying to find things to throw in there, and that's not the case. We've been having fun, and there's been a lot of topics, thank goodness, because the NFL produces topics, and that's why the NFL is what it is. That's why they own a day of the week. That's why they're the great billion-dollar organization that we all love to watch. But now it's big time. Now we've got real football topics every single day. I mean, what I do is, if this is the Tuesday show, right? So I start the Tuesday show. I start thinking about it usually around Sunday. After I drop the Saturday show, I release that, do my thing Saturday night. Don't really worry about it. Kick back some brewskis, go have some beers, clear the mind after a long show. And then Sunday, I don't go full swing into to thinking about the show, but I just jot things down. Whenever comes in, I always keep a little notepad to the side. And whenever something comes up, I just jot it down. If I'm in my office, that's where my notepad is. I'll jot it down. If I'm not, then I'll just, pull up the notes pad on my phone, and I'll always jot down little ideas. Well, I usually try and put a bunch of ideas down, and then the best ideas I put into the show, right? Or, if it's the summertime or before football really got going, it was like I would pick any ideas that I had because we wouldn't have that many. Now, I was looking through my notes, Monday, early Tuesday, early today, and I was stacked with topics. I mean, so much where I'm not going to be able to get everything in, and I'm going to have to push some of that out to the Saturday show. So, I thought that, that got me excited. It was like, hey, I'm all for this. That's pretty cool. That means we have football to talk about, and it's all football topics, baby, and I can't wait. I am so jacked up for Thursday night where the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to raise the banner, their first Super Bowl win in 50 years against the Houston Texans, a team that they had to beat. Ladies and gentlemen, on the way to that Super Bowl win, on the way to that Super Bowl title, and not just a team that they had to beat, ladies and gentlemen. It was a team that they were down 24-0 in that playoff game. 24-0 in the divisional round of the playoff. You know how mad Houston had to been all summer, kicking themselves in the butt, knowing that they blew a 24-point lead? Well, they've had to be thinking about it. And not only are thinking about it, they've been preparing. They have been preparing, and I hope so, because, I know that they've got a hungry QB. They've got a hungry QB in Deshaun Watson, who just got paid the big bucks. And the thing about Deshaun Watson, the reason why I love Deshaun Watson so much is That's not going to make him settle down now. Just because he's got the money, he's going to want more. He's going to want to show that he deserves that money. He's going to want to show that he earned that money. Even though he already showed that he earned the money, he's going to want to keep playing, And they've got a new team this year. There's a lot of different pieces. Out goes the superstar wide receiver and DeAndre Hopkins. In comes a lot more pieces. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We're going to dive into this matchup all in a different segment coming up in the show. So stay tuned for that. And actually, I wasn't even going to get all into that part, but I just got so excited that I got carried away. I just got carried away. So I need to get rolling here because we got a lot to do. Again, this is the GSMC Football Podcast. Hope everyone's having a great day. This is episode number 20, the big number 20, dropping on a Tuesday. Will come out for you guys Wednesday. Tune in before kickoff of week 1 comes Thursday night. I am your host, Kayvon Izami. So what we got going on today is we're going to start this first segment. We're going to start it right off the bat. You know what it is, right? It's predictions. It is Super Bowl predictions. Right off the bat, I'm going to give you guys my Super Bowl predictions. And then I'm going to give you guys your predictions. That's right. I got a lot of tweets from you, all of you out there. And I picked out my favorite ones. And I'm going to read them to everyone here. And I'm going to give you guys a shout out because I appreciate the tweets. You guys are awesome for giving me those tweets. So I'm going to give you guys that shout out. And I actually am really impressed with a lot of these tweets. So I want to read those out to you guys. And then from there, we will then break down the game. We'll break down the Thursday night game, Houston Texans against the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. We will look more into Deshaun Watson's contract and what this means moving forward for that other quarterback down in Texas, right down the road, right? What does this mean? Did the Dallas Cowboys screw this up? Or is actually Dak Prescott sitting here and saying, that's the deal I want? That's the exact deal I want. We'll dive into that. And then to end the show, we're going to give you guys our player predictions, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie, Defensive Rookie, and then we're going to give you guys our 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st best players in the NFL moving into the season starting on Thursday. So stay tuned for all of that. But let's get into it. Nothing better than starting with the predictions 2 days before the NFL season kicks off. Here we go. To start, let's go with the AFC. We're going to run it down, give you our division winners, just recap it real quick, our wild card winners, and then move on from there. In the AFC, the number 1 seed I have in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens once again. Another tremendous season for Lamar and the Ravens. Not only do they have everyone coming back, not only do they still have one of the best offensive lines in the league, but they also got better. Marquise Goodwin is going into his 2nd year. Mark Andrews is going to have more of a role with Hayden Hurst out. And they drafted J.K. Dobbins, who many believe was the best running back coming into this draft. And he somehow fell all the way to the 2nd round. And then they got better on defense. They drafted Patrick Queen, the linebacker, the fast modern-day linebacker out of LSU. They got better all around, and they will win the AFC. Not the playoffs. They will have the number 1 seed in the AFC. Number 2, Kansas City. Another good season. I think they lose a couple more games this year during the regular season. I don't think they go as hard, but I think they do enough to get that number 2 seed locked in moving forward. How can you go wrong with them? You got Mahomes, you got Kelsey, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Sammy Watkins, you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then you have a defense coming back. You have Chris Jones, the sack master, Chris Jones. Tyrann Mathieu. Love me some Tyrann Mathieu. One of the best safeties in all of football. The number 2 seed in the AFC, Kansas City. Number 3, the Houston Texans. I know Hopkins is gone. I know. But I love me some Deshaun Watson. I think David Johnson gets back to his normal self. I think Brandon Cooks has a great season being there with Deshaun Watson passing him the ball. Will Fuller, if he stays healthy, he's going to have a good season. Kenny Still, the speedster. You guys right there, you have 3 players in Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller, and Kenny Stills that run under 4.3 40-yard dashes. Under 4.3 40-yard dashes. That is a matchup nightmare. Deshaun Watson is sitting there saying, let's go. Let's go. He's going to have those speedsters. Like I said, David Johnson's going to get back to himself. J.J. Watt's healthy. Houston Texans, number 3 seed in the AFC. Number 4, New England Patriots. That's right. I told you guys I have New England winning that division, and I'm sticking to it. All right. I think that Cam Newton shows the league that he still has a lot of gas left in the tank. I think Bill Belichick shows that he can still create a great defense even with all those players opting out. I think both of them are ready to prove something. I think Josh McDaniels shows what he's got in the tank, and I think it's game on, and they win that division, and they get the 4th seed in the AFC. The first wild card spot. Remember, this year we had 3 wild card teams. The first, Pittsburgh Steelers. I love me some Pittsburgh this year. They went 8-8 last year with 2 below average QBs, and that's being kind to them. Now Big Ben comes back. Defense is a top 5 defense in the league. They just re-signed Cam Hayward, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, James Conner, Deontay Johnson, a really good coach in Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing record as a head coach. Give me some Steelers, and as I told you guys in the show last year as a bold prediction, this team, if everything hits right, can win the AFC North and the entire AFC. That is how much faith I have in the Pittsburgh Steelers and Big Ben coming back and that vaunted Steelers defense. That's my first wild card spot. Second, Buffalo Bills. They went 10-6 last year, had an easy schedule, but I like the moves they made this offseason. They got better. They didn't get worse. I know many are still skeptical on Josh Allen, but he continues to progress each year. He's surrounded by a good coaching staff. He's surrounded by good players. They go and give him another weapon in Stephon Diggs. Devin Singletary is the lead back with rookie Zach Moss behind him, who is just a beast at Utah. I loved him coming out of Utah. Head coach Sean McDermott is underrated, but he is one of the best coaches in the NFL. He will make sure that defense is a top 5 defense once again. And this will be a very dangerous wild card team. I think they win about 10-9 games around that area again. And if things click, I like it. But I see them as my second wild card. And then my third and final wild card, you bet it, the Las Vegas Raiders. Say it with me, the Las Vegas Raiders. That's right. John Gruden is going to have those boys ready. Derek Carr is going to be ready to step up to the challenge. Josh Jacobs. That's the key here. Josh Jacobs is going to emerge as one of the best running backs in the NFL. He was great on the ground last year. He's going to be even better in the passing game. John Gruden's been saying all offseason they want to get him involved in the passing game. They're going to get him involved in the passing game. Darren Waller is one of my favorite tight ends in the league. Henry Ruggs will spread the field with that lightning speed. I think the defense got a lot better with some of those free agent acquisitions. Also, they get back their rookie pick, Jonathan Abrams, who hurt his shoulder week 1 last year. He didn't play the rest of the season. He'll be back. He's a hot, hard-hitting safety. I think John Gruden, first year in Vegas, finally gets these boys in his 3rd year back with the Raiders into the playoffs with that 7th wild card spot. I know that's out there on a limb, but for that to work, I need Derek Carr to step up, and I believe he will. And then my AFC Conference Championship game is, I'm going all chalk. I'm sorry. It's the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. 2 of the most exciting teams in football, 2 electric offenses led by young star quarterbacks. It will be a great, great battle, but Patrick Mahomes and his late game heroics will lead the Kansas City Chiefs back to the Super Bowl for the 2nd year in a row. Those are my AFC picks. Now, let's move to the NFC. All right, for the NFC, the number 1 seed, you got it. Same thing. San Francisco 49ers. Look, I like the 49ers to be the top team again. I do. I like Kyle Shanahan. I think Kyle Shanahan has emerged as the best offensive coach in football, and I don't even think it's that close. He is the best offensive coach in football. I think his run game is impossible to stop. I think it's absolutely absurd that their defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, didn't get a head coaching job after the way that they played defense last year. I think they are just as good this year. Jimmy G takes a step up. George Kittle got paid. I like them as the first team, number 1 seed in the NFC. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa is stacked top to bottom. I think their defense will carry them in the beginning of the season. That's right. I think their defense will carry them in the beginning of the season while the offense gets all on the same page. And by the end of September, that offense is going to take off and it won't look back. They have depth across the board. And most importantly, Brady is hungry and he is going to show it. Number 3 seed, Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz takes this team back-to-back NFC East champions. Back-to-back NFC East champions. They upgrade at the wide receiver position by adding Jalen Reagor, speedster from TCU. I wish they would have added more. I really do. They're struggling by not giving the Carson Wentz as much help as he deserves, which makes me mad. But I like that they added Reagor. I like that they have Miles Sanders. I like him a lot. He's a change of pace back, catch the ball in the backfield back, the modern type, running back in today's NFL. They have Deshaun Jackson if he can stay healthy. I love their 2 tight end combo, probably the best 2 tight end combo in the league with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. They upgraded at the cornerback position by adding Darius Slay. That defense will be better. This is a veteran locker room, and I like the Eagles to have a good season. That is my 3rd team in the NFC. My 4th, Minnesota Vikings. The biggest acquisition for the Vikings this offseason actually came at the coaching staff. Their offensive coordinator last year, Kevin Stefanski, took the head coaching job with the Browns. So the Vikings then promoted Gary Kubiak to offensive coordinator. He was just holding as an advisor, but he decided to step into that role. And while Stefanski is a good coach and he did a good job with the Vikings last year, Gary Kubiak is on a whole nother level. Gary Kubiak is a Super Bowl winning head coach when he won with the Broncos in 2015. He is the perfect old school run the ball, and then open up the play action pass offense for Kirk Cousins, and that's going to make Kirk Cousins a better quarterback. I like the Vikings to beat out the Packers and get that 4th seed in the NFC. My first wild card, Seattle Seahawks. While I think this team has many flaws, and I've said this over and over, I think they do a poor job with the way they build around Russell Wilson. I really do. You can't count on they do, but you can never count out the greatness of Russell Wilson. And once again, Wilson will put this team on his back. I think DK Metcalf takes a step forward as a receiver. I think Tyler Lockett has a good year. I think Chris Carson has another good year rushing the ball. And I think their acquisition of Carlos Hyde is a big help too, who did a good job rushing the ball in Houston last year. This Seattle will win another 11 games because of Wilson, and he will put that team as the first wild card in the NFC. Second wild card team, the Atlanta Falcons. That's right. Look, you can call me biased if you want, but I like the roster a lot this year. I really do. Knock on wood, but they have some pieces that are there, and if everyone stays healthy, that's the key with this team. The last 2 years, they have caught the injury bug like no other team in the NFL. If they can stay healthy, they should be a threat in the NFC. The offensive line will be better. They added Todd Gurley, who is going to help Matt Ryan out a bunch when under duress. Calvin Ridley looks to take a step forward. They still have the best wide receiver in the NFL in Julio Jones. And finally, for the first time in forever, Atlanta can say that they have a good pass rushing unit with Dante Fowler leading the way. I like the Falcons as my second wild card team, and my third wild card team and final wild card team and final spot in the playoffs, the Arizona Cardinals. This is my surprise team. I have a surprise team in the AFC with the Raiders, and now I have a surprise team in the NFC with the Cardinals. Now, I know a lot of people are on the Cardinals, so maybe that's not much of a surprise, but a lot of people think that the Cardinals are going to be this year's version of the Ravens last year. I'm not going that far. Actually, I don't think they need to be that good to make the playoffs. They have all the pieces. Kyler Murray looks like a great young QB. They have him in a number one wide receiver. They gave him a number one wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. They still have Larry Fitzgerald on that offensive side of the ball to help these rookies come along and help DeAndre Hopkins fit in that offense. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they have that monster, that sack monster in Chandler Jones, who I think could even break Michael Strahan's single-season sack record this year, who is such an underrated pass rusher in the NFL and never gets talked about. And then they added my favorite guy coming out of the draft in Isaiah Simmons, who is just a Swiss Army knife. He can play 4 different positions on defense. If you use him right, you can put him in the safety position. You can put him in the linebacker position. You can have him rush the passer. You can have him cover tight ends. You can put him in cornerback. You can have this guy do whatever if you do use him right. And I have the Arizona Cardinals as my 3rd wild card team. All right, this now brings me to my NFC Championship game pick. Who's coming out? I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the San Francisco 49ers. That is right. I think we get a showdown between the old man, the old offensive genius in Bruce Arians against the new offensive genius in Kyle Shanahan. I think that we get a showdown between 2 former New England Patriot quarterbacks, Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo. Imagine the storylines there, ladies and gentlemen. We all remember this dynamic. We all remember how Belichick wanted to get rid of Brady and keep Garoppolo, but the owner wouldn't allow it. He had to step in. Brady got the best of Garoppolo then, and he's going to get the best of Garoppolo now. Again, that's right. I have Tom Brady, the 43-year-old ageless wonder, coming out of the NFC. I have them beating the San Francisco 49ers and going to the Super Bowl. It will be an epic battle. It will be the old offensive genius against the new offensive genius. It'll be the 2 former Patriot quarterbacks, and they will battle it out, and Tom Brady will come out and face Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I am going to give you guys my winner of that matchup. And then I'm going to read you guys your picks. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, who is going to win the Super Bowl? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Kansas City Chiefs? Stay tuned right after this. This is the GSMC Football Podcast.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Bryson Ethan here to tell you about our favorite sports book, and that's BetUS. Football, basketball, and baseball are all back, and that means it's time to get down your bets. We only endorse one sports book, and that is BetUS.com. Why, you ask? BetUS is the pioneer in online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know that you're going to get paid.
That's right, Bryce. You need a sports book that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, entertainment, and all kinds of crazy prop bets and futures. So call today at 1-800-MY-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US, and they will walk you through getting started. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses or bigger bonuses than BetUS. Join now, mention GSMC, and you get up to 150% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. We bet at BetUS, and so should you. So join BetUS today. That's BetUS.com or call 1-800-MY-BET-US, mention GSMC, and get 150% in bonuses on your first deposit.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's GSMCpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
This is the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Kayvon Izami. As always, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Hope everyone's pumped up. Hope everyone's having a great early part of their week. And I hope everyone is excited for some football. We just ended that first segment. It was pumped. You know, we were hype. We were really getting into it. I'm not going to lie, while I was running through my playoff predictions, I was getting chills down my back. I was feeling the excitement. I could just, you could just tell that football is about to be here. And you can tell for us here in the East Coast, especially in North Carolina, because of the weather. We've been lucky. We've had some really cool weather lately, and it makes you feel like that football season, which we usually don't always get that in September, which has been great. So, like I said, to finish off that last segment, I have coming out of the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them beating the San Francisco 49ers. So I have the 49ers making it back to that title game. I think the 49ers actually, from top to bottom, if you look at it from depth, and if you look at it from defense as well, not just offense, I think that they have the best roster in the entire NFC, okay? And then they have the smartest offensive coach, in my mind, in the entire league. So when you put those two together, and then you put that they got to keep their defensive coordinator in Robert Saleh, which, again, is just mind-blowing to me that nobody hired him. Think about this. The two teams that made it to the Super Bowl this year, in the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, both of those teams are bringing back their entire coaching staff. When does that happen? When do two teams that make it to the Super Bowl don't end up losing at least one coach? Usually, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator get a head coaching job somewhere because it's such a great season. It's usually such a miraculous and an outstanding season by the two teams that made it, that's what ends up happening. But somehow, neither team lost their coaching staff, and they all came back intact. And I love the 49ers. I love the moves that they made. They did a great job. So DeForest Buckner, one of their true defensive linemen, one of those big boys up front, that was a big reason why they had such success on the defensive end last year. He got traded to the Colts this offseason because they just weren't going to be able to bring back all of those big boys on that defensive line. So what they did was, it was genius. They traded him to the Colts, and they got a first-round pick for him, and they used that first-round pick on Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina, who is just another big boy for that defensive line. They didn't say, hey, let's get all smart and tricky with this type of stuff and try and do something outside of the box. No, they said, let's trade away our big guy because we can't sign him. We need to save money to sign others, and let's bring in another big guy. And bring in that other big guy who's now going to be on a rookie deal for 4-5 more years. So, and I love Javon Kinlaw. I actually was hoping the Falcons would draft him, but the 49ers swooped in and got him first. And then they used that second pick that they got, first-round pick, to bring in wide receiver Brandon Ayuk out of Arizona State. So I really like what the 49ers did, and I think that they will be just as good as last year. And I think they'll make it all the way to the NFC Championship game until they run into the veteran seasoned Bucs. Okay? And when it's all said and done, the 49ers might be better than the Bucs, but I'm putting my faith in one guy and one guy only, and we all know who that guy is. That's Tom Brady. Okay? Tom Brady's going to look across that field when he plays against them on that championship Sunday, and he's going to see Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's going to have some memories. He's going to remember that his old franchise wanted to get rid of him for him. He's going to pull that Michael Jordan, where you try and find any little thing at an older age to motivate you. Michael would go out there and he would find a newspaper. I mean, it could be it could be the Iowa newspaper or whatever. And if it said one bad thing about him, he would clip that and he would use it as motivation, right? That's what, Tom Brady will look at Jimmy G and he said, oh, here we go. And I think Brady will show to the world that he still has it in him. And I'm not going to bet against Brady when you have this much talent on your offensive team, okay? Now, I could be wrong. He's 43 years old. There's a lot to that. But I am rolling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC. AFC, as I said, the Kansas City Chiefs once again going back to the Super Bowl as they knock off the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And this is why, okay? First of all, I do need to see Lamar win the big game. I need to see him win the playoffs, and I think he does it this year. I think he gets over the hump this year. He wins a couple playoff games, gets him to the AFC Championship game. And I think it's a good game. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are going punch for punch with the Chiefs all game. But then because Mahomes has done it before, because Mahomes has been there before, and not only has Mahomes been there before and won, he's been there before and lost. You remember 2 years ago they were in the AFC Championship game and he lost to that Tom Brady. And Tom Brady showed him, hey, you're the young buck here, but I can still show you what's up. So Mahomes knows what it's like to win and lose. And I think that's even better learning experience than it is to just go there and win. So he has that in his back pocket that he can pull out while Lamar doesn't yet. And I think because of that, because the coaching experience, because of Mahomes, because of the talent, because of that defense that plays better towards the end of the year, like they did last year, I have the Chiefs I guess you could say upsetting because I have the Ravens as the number 1 seed, but I have the Chiefs beating the Baltimore Ravens and meeting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Now, let's pick that game, why don't we, huh? We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let me read you guys some stats here, okay? Tampa Bay last year had 41 turnovers. 41 turnovers. You know the last team to have 41 turnovers? The Cleveland Browns. Guess what their record was that year? 0-16. Okay? So the Bucs had 41 turnovers with 2 weeks left in the season, they were 7-7. They were 500 record somehow with 41 turnovers. What does that tell me? That tells me that if they just get an efficient, competent quarterback, that record is way better. Call me crazy, but I think that they got that quarterback in Tom Brady. Listen to this stat. Jameis Winston was the quarterback for the Bucs last year. Threw 30 interceptions last year. In 1 year, 30 interceptions. Tom Brady has thrown 30 interceptions in his last 64 games. So from what Jameis did in 1 year, Brady hasn't done that in over a span of 64 games. I think Tampa's defense will be better. And I think if a team can go 7-7 with 41 turnovers, and then you add the greatest quarterback of all time that has a chip on his shoulder, I add 4 more wins to that, gets them into the playoffs, and then once they're in the playoffs, it's all fair game from there. That is why the Tampa Bay Bucs will be in the Super Bowl. And then you have the Chiefs. 22 out of 23 starters coming back from last year. The entire coaching staff returning, as we said. Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins. And then you go and add the only running back in college last year to rush for 1,000 yards and have 500 yards receiving. I mean, this team can just not be stopped. They can't. The only thing that will stop this team is from going back-to-back to Super Bowls is injuries. And I don't predict injuries. I don't wish for injuries. So I'm doing these predictions fully based off of everyone being healthy. With that being said, for my 2020-2021 NFL season, I have the Kansas City Chiefs beating Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, as the Kansas City Chiefs will go back-to-back. Mahomes will get that second ring, and it will be one heck of a game. It will be one of the best Super Bowls we've watched. It will be high ratings. The storylines will be magical. The storylines will be like no other. The old guy versus the new guy. The best quarterback ever versus the best young quarterback we've ever seen. And I think it will be a battle all the way till the end. But when it's all said and done, I think that Mahomes magic will show up once again. And I predict the Kansas City Chiefs to go back-to-back as Super Bowl champions. Those are my NFL predictions. The NFL is finally here. We are 2 days away, ladies and gentlemen. 2 days away. Those are my predictions. I always want to hear yours. I have heard from a lot of you, and I'm about to read those out. If you have not tweeted me, or if you want to tweet me again, please do. You know how to do it at Kayvon_sports. And then you can also reach out on the company page at GSMC_football. I have gotten most of your tweets through my personal page, the at Kayvon_sports. I appreciate that. I check that more often, so that's perfect. And I will read these out and just keep them coming. I'll read them out all season, and we'll keep looking back and see whose predictions were the best, whose predictions showed up the most, and whose predictions were the most right. And you know if I'm wrong, I'll say it. And you know if I'm right, I'll say it. So, let's go and look at your tweets now, all right? We've got first one here, Gary Haddo, all right? Please forgive me if I pronounced your name wrong, Gary, but at Gary Haddo, Gary HADDOW1 said, go give him a follow. He said that, Kayvon, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles against Baltimore Ravens, and I have Baltimore winning it all. Gary, I love that, man. I love that. Look, you obviously listen to the show because, first of all, you know how much I love me some Eagles. You know how much I love me some Carson Wentz, right? It might be a little bit of a reach to take the Eagles, but if all things click, that Eagles team is just as dangerous as any other team out there. They have the talent. You know, they have the weapons this year. Now, they don't have as much weapons as I wish they would have added for Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz has the talent to make up for it, and we saw that last year. The defense is going to be better. The secondary will be better. That is a really interesting pick there, Gary, and I like it. I like that you're going out on a limb a little bit, doing something different. I like that. And then, hey, you know, I like that you have Baltimore winning it all in that circumstance. I would love that for Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar is a special player. I think he deserves a Super Bowl at some point in his career. I just don't think it's going to come yet. I think he needs more time to learn to win. I think he takes a big step this postseason. I really do. It's been a disappointing postseason the last two. You know, I don't really count that rookie year one because he only jumped into the season halfway through. But last year was very disappointing. 14-2, best rushing team in NFL history, and then you lay an egg like that at home against I get it, a very hot Tennessee Titans team, but still, that can't happen. I think Lamar and the Ravens take a big step. They win a couple games. They get to that AFC Championship game, and that's where it stops there. But I love the tweet. I love the insight, Gary. Can't wait to see how that goes. All right, who else do we have here? Let's go. We've got Brian Tompkins, Twitter handle B Tompkins, said, Kayvon, I know you're not going to like this at all. I have the Saints over the Chiefs. I think you're reaching on Drew Brees just dropping off. Could he take a step back? Yeah, but being unplayable like you're saying, that's ridiculous. Okay, I feel the fire. That's why I started laughing here, because I feel the fire through the phone, Brian. All right? Look, hey, great tweet. I'm never going to tweet. I'm never going to come at someone for giving me a little pushback on my takes. That's what I want. That's why I say these takes. I want you guys to tell me I'm an idiot. I want you guys to say you are so wrong, and that's what Brian just did here, and I love it. I love the passion. You challenge my point, and that's what I want to hear. And you know what? You make some great points, too. I have to be real with you. Maybe I will be wrong about the Saints. You know, they definitely have the talent. There's no doubt about that. And they should be in that Super Bowl picture just like they should have been every other year. but they keep blowing it, Brian. Why do they keep blowing it, huh? Why do they keep choking? I just don't like what I've seen from Drew Brees. I don't like it. I don't like what I've seen towards the end of the season. And especially in the playoffs last 2 years. You can't beat Kirk Cousins, who's never won a playoff game. Are you kidding me? His yards per game, his yards per pass, his QBR, his completion percentage, they've all fallen off towards the last fourth of the season last year. That's not a good sign for a 41-year-old quarterback. That's all I'm saying. But hey, I love the tweet, and I love that Chiefs pick. You know, I have the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl as well. And you know what, Brian? Let's go at each other all season. Let's see who's right on this Saints stuff. All right, great stuff, man. Way to bring the fire. Let's go to a couple more here. Leo S. Leo tweeted, Twitter handle smooth1074. Go give him a follow. Said, Kayvon, you're gonna love me and you're gonna hate me you're gonna love me and you're gonna hate me for this one. Okay, what do you got, Leo? You're gonna love me because I have your Falcons in the Super Bowl. I like that. I like that a lot. You're gonna hate me because I have the Patriots beating them again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Leo. Can't you tell I'm happy, man? Can't you tell I'm a happy man right now? Are you trying to put me into depression? I mean, what are you trying to do to me right now, Leo? This is absurd. Let me just tell you, you're right. I do love you and I do hate you, okay? Because first of all, I know a lot of people think the Falcons have no chance, but I'm with you, man. All right, if they hit on all cylinders, they for sure have a chance to do what they did in 2016. All right? You know, Matt Ryan's second year with a new OC is always better than his first, and that's what's happening this year with Dirk Cutter. That defense should be a whole lot better as long as everyone can stay healthy. So I like it. I like it. Now, let me just tell you this, though. If we make the Super Bowl, and I look across that field and it's the Patriots again, and if we lose to that team, I will cry and cry and cry for the longest time, okay? So we can cross that border if that actually comes, Leo, but I love the tweet. I really do. I love that you're trying to stir the pot here. And you know what? I actually believe that this is your real pick. I don't think you're just trying to mess with me. I think you really think that this can happen, and I respect that because you know how high I am on Cam Newton and the Pats, and you know I love my Falcons, and I will take me being wrong about my Bucs pick all day to get those Falcons in the Super Bowl. So I do love you and I do hate you. At the same time, you're spot on, and that was a great tweet, man. Great tweet, but please don't put me into depression like that. You know, don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. All right, let's do one more here. Let's do one more. Let's see. We got Tanner Stoll. I think that's right, and the Twitter handle is Tanner Skoll, actually. So last name Stoll, but I get it. You're a Vikings fan. Last name is Stoll, but your Twitter handle is Tanner Skoll, like the Vikings crush, the Skull Crush. Okay, what do we got here, Tanner? Clearly a Minnesota fan. So Tanner said, Vikings over Ravens. Book it. All capital letters in the book it. That's it. Plain and simple. He just put it. Oh, Tanner. While I love and admire your fandom and truly respect it, really do, truly respect it, the Vikings have no shot at making the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, Tanner. Like I said, I love the fandom, man. I love the fandom, all right? You know what? And I love that you went out and you picked your team, and you stuck by that. And honestly, as someone that has done that many times with their team, I'm not going to hate on you for it. But I'm just going to tell you my personal opinion. And the Vikings have no shot. You know, now I'm being generous. I'm having them winning the division. I'm having them beat out the Green Bay Packers. And I'm actually having Kirk Cousins have a good year. But let's not get greedy here, Tanner, all right? Remember, good old Captain check down Kirk Cousins is still behind center. But, hey, love the fandom. I respect it. I really do. And I appreciate the tweet, Tanner, and you keep that fandom up, all right? You keep that fandom up. And that was great stuff from all of you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to more. If we have some time later on in the show, I will go through a couple more of those tweets, but I'll just keep them coming, and I'll get them all out here eventually, and we'll read through them. And I responded to all of you that tweeted at me, so I appreciate that, and you know, keep it coming, okay? Just keep them coming. great stuff by all you guys, and love the picks, and I love the fire. I can feel it through my phone when I was reading it. I could feel it through my phone. I love the fire there. So there it is. You have my Super Bowl picks. I have the Kansas City Chiefs going back-to-back, beating Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. Is it going to happen? We'll find out. We got a long season ahead, and it's going to be time to really sit back, put our feet up, grab our brewskis, and watch as we go and see what happens. What we're going to do now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it is time to dive into some game breakdown. That's right. We picked our Super Bowl picks, but that's for the future. What about the game on Thursday? Who's going to win it and why? We'll break it down on the GSMC Football Podcast right after this.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA, from the UFC to extreme cage fighting. They got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
This is the GSMC Football Podcast. I am your host, Kayvon Izami. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. Hope everyone's enjoying the show. We are coming out of halftime, and let me tell you, that was a fiery first half of the show. Thanks to you guys and those awesome tweets you sent in, and just thanks to you guys for all you guys and girls out there that have been listening. Whether you've been listeners from day one or whether you just recently started listening, hop on board. This is episode 20, and we appreciate all of you. You know, the day one listeners all the way up to the day 20, the episode 20 listeners. Keep them coming. Tell your friends and family about the show. Keep tuning in and keep giving me suggestions. Keep giving me tweets. Keep coming at my takes. I mean, nothing makes for more entertaining content than people coming at your takes, you know? Because think about this. This is a solo show, right? I don't have someone here saying, Kayvon, you're an absolute idiot. That is wrong when I say something, right? So I need you guys to say that. Otherwise, I'm going to sit in my castle chair over here and I'm going to feel big time. And I know some of you want to shoot that down, which you should. So I love it. That's entertainment at its finest. I love clearly the knowledge that you guys have, and also you guys are clearly listening and paying attention, and that makes me happy. And again, love the content, love the tweets that you guys are sending out, and I hope you guys love what I'm doing on my end as well. So what we just went into, you know, you heard my picks. I have the Kansas City Chiefs going back to back, beating the Tom Brady ageless Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of people are, you know, skeptical about that pick. A lot of people, you know, are saying that that's a reach. The Chiefs, you know, I think everyone that's chalk, you know, that's just chalk. I'm not being very crazy, if you'd like to say, by picking the Chiefs, but I just can't bet against Patrick Mahomes right now. He's playing too well. And I also just believe in Brady. Look, I think that Brady takes care of his body just like LeBron takes care of his body. I think that he knows what he's doing at age 43. I think that he knows how much to push his body and push his limits so he doesn't have to overdo it. And this is the thing that I really am high about. I don't think it's going to have to be where he has to be amazing. Like, I don't think he has to be the MVP of the league to get them to the Super Bowl. I think that the defense is going to be much better than people think. I think that the running game is going to be much better than people think. And because of that, I think that they can win games with Brady just making those clutch throws down the stretch like he always has in his entire career. So I'm not expecting him to come out and have some insane MVP type season. Now, he might do that, and I wouldn't be shocked, but he doesn't need to do that for the Bucs to win. He doesn't need to do that for the Bucs to make the Super Bowl. He just has to be Tom Brady, and he has to hit the throws when the throws matter most. Play complimentary football. And we'll see what happens. But I love you guys' picks, so you remember what we're going to do coming up next segment. It's time for more predictions. We're doing the player predictions. We're giving out the awards. Who's winning MVP? Can Lamar go back-to-back? Or someone new? Who's winning comeback player of the year? Hey, there's some good options for comeback player of the year. Think about it. Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, Rob Gronkowski, Todd Gurley. I mean, these are all players that either didn't play last year because of injury, had a bad year because of injury, retired like Gronk did. All of that is under the classification of coming back. And you know, who's going to have that comeback player of the year? Who's going to be the best offensive rookie of the year? Who's going to be the best defensive rookie of the year? And who's going to be the best defensive player overall? Who's going to wreak havoc? Who's going to lock down like Gilmore did last year? We're going to find out. We're going to break all of that down coming up next segment. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, we're going to keep going with our top 10 players of the year entering this 2020 season. And we have 4, 3, 2, 1 to still give you guys, which we'll do to end the show. But let's get into it. First of all, have you guys seen this? We're going to get into some game talk here, break down the game, look at Mahomes, look at Watson's contract a little bit more. But before we do that, have you guys seen this news? I think this is really interesting. The NFL is getting creative. Or maybe I should say the Philadelphia Eagles are getting creative. I don't know if you guys saw this news, but the Philadelphia Eagles have signed 41-year-old Josh McCown to their practice squad. Josh McCown is a quarterback. He's 41 years old. He was the backup quarterback for the Eagles last year, and he actually played in the playoff game because Carson Wentz got hurt when Jadeveon Clowney hit him in his head. He got a real bad concussion in the first couple minutes of that playoff game. So McCown had to step in, and he played well. And listen, maybe most of you guys didn't see this because this isn't like world-breaking news. There's nothing really special here, right? I mean, no disrespect to McCown, but he isn't someone that is going to change the complexion of a team at this point, right? I mean, I think that's kind of fair to say. He's been a great quarterback for a long time. He's been a really good mentor. That's definitely been something that is going to stick with him longer as he retires, whenever he does. But this is the interesting part about it. I'm not just bringing this up to say, they said the Eagles signed him as their practice squad quarterback. No, this is the interesting part. You know what the Eagles did? The Eagles signed McCown to their practice squad, but told him to stay at home in his Texas home and just work out and stay in shape. So, think about that. They signed this player, 41-year-old quarterback Josh McCown, to their practice squad, but they told him, don't come to Philadelphia. Don't come to Philadelphia. Stay in shape. Stay at home in Texas. And if we need you, we'll call you. This is genius, guys. This is genius. First of all, not a bad gig, right? Stay at home, make $12,000 a week. I mean, if you can get it, hey, all props to you. All props to you if you can get it, right? Go grab it. But this is such a great move because of why? Because of COVID. Because of COVID. The Eagles are doing this just in case their quarterback room gets infected by the virus. And if that was to happen, then they would be able to have a quarterback at home, away from the facility, away from the team, that can then come in. Because the quarterback room is always together. So the likelihood of if one quarterback gets it, most likely that whole quarterback room is going to get it, including the quarterback coach and all that stuff. So this is a really smart move because it doesn't put them in a situation where they then have to scramble, pick some random player up, have them, understand the playbook in 4 or 5 days and then have them start that Sunday. No, Josh McCown knows the playbook. Josh McCown knows everything about the Eagles system, and he's sitting at home staying in shape just in case that happened. Very, very smart move, and it's going to be so interesting to see if other teams start to do this, if other teams follow in line, because I think they should. I didn't even think about this, but this is a really good idea. And there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that you can do that to. Very interesting, and this is a 2020 move at its finest. There is no doubt about that. All right. This is the GSMC Football Podcast. I'm your host, Kayvon Izami. Let's move on here. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. I want to dive into that contract that he got just a little bit more, and then we'll break down the game. All right, so when you look at the contract that he just received, and as we talked about last show, just really quickly, he signed a 4-year, $160 million deal, annual average of $40 million a year, includes a $27 million signing bonus, all that good stuff. So he is the only quarterback that is in that $40 million a year range like Patrick Mahomes, only quarterback other than Mahomes. So this is such a great contract for Watson. When you look at this dollar for dollar, it's actually far better than the Mahomes contract. It's far better. And I know a lot of you saying, how? Mahomes got $500 million. Well, this is why. On the guaranteed side of things, Mahomes is only getting $30 million more than Watson. So guaranteed in the pocket, no matter what happens, Mahomes is getting $30 million more. And yeah, that sounds like a lot, but that's nothing for signing for 10 years. So he signed for 10 years and he's only getting $30 million more guaranteed, while Watson is only signed for 4. So Deshaun Watson is going to get, he's going to get his money right here, and then he's going to get, quote unquote, as people like to say, another bite at the apple 4 years from now, where Watson will only be 40 years old. 30 years old, not 40, 30 years old. So, and that's a really young age for quarterbacks, especially nowadays, which that they're trying to play forever. So he got his 4-year deal. It's a short-term deal. It's a massive deal. And then he gets another bite at the apple when he turns 30 years old. That is such a great deal for Deshaun Watson. And it's very impressive. It shows how much the Texans love him. And while Mahomes is locked in for 10 years, and that's great and all, Mahomes' deal was shocking, but it was so shocking because of how team-friendly it is. And that's great for Mahomes, and props to him. He's trying to win, and that's the biggest part of it. And I respect the hell out of that. I really do. But this is a great contract for the Texans. This is a great contract for Deshaun Watson, and it's a great contract for the Texans too. And this is why. Because they got their guy. They locked up their guy. And I know so many people are so sick of talking about the Cowboys and Prescott's contract, but it's so hard to not look over at Dallas and just realize how much they have screwed up that Dak Prescott situation. Think about this. I said over the summer that they should not give Prescott a long-term deal. I said that, right? And that they should franchise him, and that's what they did. And I said that because they clearly don't love Prescott. They like him. The Texans love Deshaun Watson. It's like this, okay? For all the men out there, all right? Well, let me just speak on behalf of the men because I can do that, right? I can't speak for you women out there. So just follow along here. I'm sure you have either been through this yourself or you have a friend that have gone through this situation. I'm almost positive that all of you have had a friend that has gone through this situation, right? Your friend starts talking to a girl. He goes on dates with her. They start talking. That's the quote-unquote. They're not dating, they're talking. They hang out all the time, text each other whenever they're not together, all that stuff. But for some reason, he won't make it official. for some reason, he won't ask her to officially be her girlfriend. And I know this is kind of like back in the day, younger stuff when you say, will you be my girlfriend? But you still have to make it official, even when you're, older and you're just dating someone. Is it just dating? Is it casual dating? Whatever, And he won't make it official where she is officially his girlfriend. And, as his friends, we all keep asking him why, Well, what's going on? Why aren't you you hang out with her all the time? You guys go on all the dates. You're always texting her even when you're with us. Why are you not making her your girlfriend? And he just really isn't sure. He doesn't really have an answer. It's always that cliche, I just want to play it out. I just want to see how things play out, see where it goes. In other words, I'm not sold. I'm not sold she's the one. That's pretty much what he's saying. And the reason why he's not sold that she's the one is because he doesn't love her. He loves spending time with her. He loves having fun with her. But he isn't fully in love with her. There's something missing. That's what you have with the Cowboys and Dak, okay? And then you look at the Texans situation. Then you have the other friend. Everyone has this friend too, right? Who starts dating a girl right away. And within a couple of weeks, he asks her to be his girlfriend. I mean, they're official within a couple of weeks. And the next thing you know, within a year, they're getting married. And all of his friends were like, whoa, are you serious? What's going on, man? You're moving really fast. They're getting married in a year. They've moved in together, all that stuff. And he just goes, trust me, she's the one. And he feels it fully right away. And that's what you have with Deshaun and the Texans. See, the Texans fully believe that Watson is their guy. That Watson is a winner. And they believe Watson can take them to the promised land. They are sold on Watson. They've seen enough from Watson to say, hey, I don't care if this isn't a team-friendly deal. We're signing this guy because we love this guy. We have faith in this guy. The Cowboys are the opposite. The Cowboys are not sold on Dak Prescott. The Cowboys need another year. We've all heard this, right? They need another year of dating him before deciding if they want to put a ring on it. They need another year of dating before they decide if they want to put a ring on it. See, what the Texans did is they told Deshaun Watson that they love him. What the Cowboys did by franchise tagging him is they told Dak that they like him. They don't love him yet. And they don't want to pay for that expensive diamond that's about to go on your finger, a.k.a. that big old contract, until we see some more out of you, Dak Prescott. And I respect that. Now, in terms of why the Cowboys screwed things up on their end, is they should have signed Dak Prescott last summer. They should have signed Dak Prescott last summer when Carson Wentz and Jared Goff were getting their deals. And they were getting it around $30 to $31 million a year. That is a good contract for Prescott. That is what Prescott deserves. He does not deserve $35, $40 million. He has not proved that yet. But instead, Jerry Jones decided he wanted to pay Zeke Elliott, who was sitting out crying in Cabo all offseason until he got his contract. That's where the Cowboys messed up on things. All right? So as much as I sit here saying, hey, don't give Dak that contract, that's ridiculous. I also don't fault Dak for wanting the most money possible. Let me get that very straight. Just because I don't believe Dak deserves that money, he should every single bit go after that money, because if he can get it, why not? And Dak has a lot of leverage here because the Cowboys screwed up. The Cowboys, you always sign your quarterback first. I'm not a GM. I'm nowhere near GM, and I know that. You don't go and sign a running back. Yeah, Zeke's a great running back. Man, he's special. Man, he's got talent. But get out of here. You don't sign your running back first. You don't then go sign your wide receiver first and then wait for the quarterback last? What is this? This is a quarterback league, ladies and gentlemen. This is a quarterback league. You go quarterback first. You get that done, and you get it done as soon as possible. You know why? Because every year you wait, something like this happens. Mahomes gets $45 million a year. Deshaun Watson gets $40 million a year. And now Dak Prescott is sitting there saying, hey, why can't I get $40 million a year, huh? Who do you have that's going to replace me? Who do you have? Okay, you don't think I'm worth that? Cool. Let me go then. Who do you have that's going to replace me? And the Cowboys are calling his bluff. And I like that they're calling his bluff, but they screwed things up from the beginning. If they signed him last offseason, they got him for that $30 million, $31 million a year, boom, everything's done. But they didn't do that. So now they have to call his bluff, and now they have to keep him on that like life, not on that love life. They have to keep him as their girlfriend, not put a ring on it yet, because they don't trust him yet. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. It would be hard because he hasn't proven enough. And the last thing we remember Dak Prescott from last year is it was a winner take all game against the Eagles, and he couldn't complete a wide open pass to Amari Cooper to win the game. He couldn't show up against the Eagles when they had way more talent on that field, way more talent than the Eagles did. He let Carson Wentz beat him out. And that's what we remember for him. And because of that, the Cowboys aren't ready to put a ring on it. They're just not ready to put a ring on it yet. So, but the Houston Texans were. And I love every bit of it. And I love every bit of Deshaun Watson, and that guy is special to watch. And he proved last year that he can put the team on his back and he can win that division 2 years in a row now. This is the GSMC Football Podcast. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will break down the game, and then we will give you guys our predictions, player predictions for the upcoming season, as we are now 2 days away from the NFL Football League 2020 kicking off, and I cannot wait for it. So, take a quick break, come back. Who's going to win the game? We'll give you our predictions. We'll give you the Vegas line, what we like in it, why we like which team we're picking, and then we'll move on and give you our predictions from there. Do not go anywhere. You're going to want to hear my player predictions moving forward. We'll be right back after this.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know who it is, your boy Kayvon. He's on me, going solo dolo as always on the GSMC Football Podcast. And we are in segment number 4. Hold up the 4 fingers. If you're driving, just real quickly throw it up and put it back. Put those hands back on the wheel. Don't go off the road now, all right? You got the 4 fingers up. You getting hyped for the fourth quarter. You getting hyped for the game on Thursday. And then you getting hyped for the weekend Sunday slate of football. And then you know what the best thing about week 1 is? I wish they did this every week, and they don't, because they want Monday Night Football to be so special, and they want it to be that one single game. But who loves the double football Monday night, the double Monday night games on week 1? I mean, nothing is better to have that first Monday night game, and then it ends, and then you say, oh, wait. We have another game at 10:30, 10:15 on the West Coast. Like, that is awesome. I love the week 1 Monday night double football game. That's just the best thing. So can't wait for that. And I think the 2 games on Monday night are the Steelers at the Giants, which would be cool. First time getting to see Big Ben back in action after getting hurt all last season. And then I think the late night game is the Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos, which we got some really, really bad news actually about the Broncos. This came out tonight actually while I'm doing this show, and I hear that Von Miller is going to be out for the season with a tendon tear. I don't want to say that for sure. I don't know the exact I haven't seen exactly what has happened yet, but it does look like he got hurt in practice. It does say that he will be getting a second opinion from another doctor, but it looks like he will be out for the entire season, and that's a really big blow to that Broncos team that had a lot of hype and expectations, and just to Von Miller, who's such a good guy, such a fun-loving guy, such a happy guy, and such a beast. Such a beast. I mean, he single-handedly really won that second Super Bowl for Peyton Manning, and I know football's a team game, so I don't want to, say that and sell out all the other players because it was a team effort. But man, what Von Miller did in that Super Bowl back in 2015 was some of the most impressive just one-man defensive show I've seen, and he wreaked havoc on Cam Newton and the Panthers, which was pretty cool to see. But prayers up to Von Miller. I hope he gets healthy, and I hope he can come back even stronger, and I fully believe he will next year because he's that type of player. So that sucks to see, and that's part of the game. We get it, but still, it's never easy to see stuff like that. Never easy to see stuff like that at all. All right, let's get into it. I want to get into my game preview of the Thursday night game and then get into the predictions. But real quick, before we get into the game preview, I just have to bring this up real quick because this news came out today. And once I heard this, I immediately wrote it down in capital letters. And I was like, I am bringing this up on my show because, ladies and gentlemen, I said it all summer. And you know what? I said it all summer, and I started to actually feel bad. I started to feel bad for a second because I just kept ripping this team over and over. And I think, man, you know what? I think I'm ripping them too hard. I think I'm ripping the general manager too hard. But I'm so glad I have been because I'm about to rip them again. Because the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, Brian Kunstekunst, or however you pronounce his name, came out today and said that Jordan Love, the quarterback that not only did they take in the first round, but they traded up to take in the first round, is now going to be the third string quarterback. Third string quarterback. He will be behind a guy named Tim Boyle. Who in the heck is Tim Boyle? I'll tell you who he is. He's an undrafted player out of Eastern Kentucky. And that guy beat out their first-round pick for the second-string spot. Guys, the Chiefs knew right away that Mahomes was going to be their guy. He wasn't going to play his rookie season, but they knew right away after one practice that this guy's special. The Ravens knew they were not starting Lamar Jackson his rookie year, but it took like 5 practices to realize, wow, this guy is special. The Packers knew. The Packers knew right away with Aaron Rodgers that he was their guy. They knew they weren't going to start him right away, but they were like, we got this pick right. We got this pick right. What's my point? My point is the Packers have now gone through all of training camp, all summer workouts, and Jordan Love, their first-round pick, hasn't showed enough to beat out a guy named Tim Boyle. So now their first and second-round picks are both third stringers in their position group. A team that went 13-3, a team that was in the NFC Championship game, a team that just needed a couple more weapons to get over the hump. Nah, that team instead spent their first-round pick on a QB that can't even beat out an undrafted quarterback from Eastern Kentucky. Wow. That's all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. And look, maybe Jordan Love will be great in the future. Maybe he will, seriously. And I hope so. I don't wish bad for anyone. I have nothing against Jordan Love. But this was an awful pick. Awful pick. You have to help your team right now, a team that went 13-3. You draft a receiver to help your quarterback, your future Hall of Fame quarterback. And they didn't do that. And that's why I got so hot and bothered all summer. And I said all summer. I said they were wrong. Said they were wrong all summer. And it looks like I'm proving to be right as of now. All right. Let's dive into the game preview. Houston Texans traveling to Kansas City, take on the defending champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, these two teams, they met in last year. They met twice during the season last year, once in the regular season where the Texans beat the Chiefs in Kansas City 31-24. And Watson didn't have particularly a good game to his standards, at least. He threw for 280 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. And they still won. It was the ground game that got it done, though, for them. Carlos Hyde, who is now in Seattle, he's not in Texas anymore. He ran for 116 yards and a touchdown on 26 carries. So they won that game. But then the Chiefs got revenge when the two teams faced off in the playoffs later that season. In that postseason. The Texans started out the game extremely hot, and it looked like, wow, maybe they have the Chiefs' number. They went up 24-0, and then the Mahomes magic began, and Mahomes led the Chiefs on an improbable comeback. The Chiefs ended up hanging 51 on the Texans that night. And I think that game was more of an anomaly. I think we will get a game that looks closer to the first matchup that these teams had last season than the playoff matchup. According to Vegas, the Chiefs are favored by 9 points. Now, usually it's tough to bet against the defending champs on opening night because, they raise the Super Bowl banner, the crowd goes crazy, all that stuff. But this is 2020. This is the COVID year, the year of COVID, so things are different. Now, Kansas City will have fans in the stands come Thursday night, but it will be nowhere near a full stadium. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes things. If I was to bet on this game, which I'm not going to because I really am not sure how it's going to go, but if I was to bet on this game, I would take Houston +9. I think Kansas City will end up winning the game, but I think it will be a very close game. I could even see like a last-second field goal being the deciding factor. I wouldn't even be shocked if Houston came out and won, though, because that's the question, right? What's it going to take for Houston to win? It's going to start with how they play defense, all right? Everyone knows that the Chiefs are littered with star power across the offensive side of the ball. And because of that, you can't even expect to shut down Kansas City, right? Like, that's just not going to happen. That's like saying you can shut LeBron down for an entire night on the basketball court. That's just not going to happen, right? But what you can try and do is pick your poison. For instance, LeBron can score and pass the ball at will, right? So teams decide, all right, are we going to let LeBron get his points, but we're going to shut down the rest of his teammates? Or are we going to try and shut down LeBron and just let him facilitate? Most teams usually say, let's let LeBron beat us. He's going to get his points no matter what. Let's let LeBron beat us, but let's not let his teammates beat us as well. So they pick their poison, right? The Texans are going to have to pick their poison just like that against the Chiefs. When you have guys like Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you clearly can't let them all go off or you're screwed. All right? You have to sell out to stop one of them. So either completely sell out and stop the run and make them beat you through the air, or sell out to stop one of those big weapons. It's the Bill Belichick way, right? Bill Belichick will always make sure to take out your best player and make you beat him with everyone else. He's always done that. The Texans will have to do that and, of course, play good offense. Play very well on offense. Run the ball. I mean, the best way to beat Mahomes is by keeping him on the sidelines as much as possible. How do you keep the opposing quarterback on the sidelines as much as possible? You run the ball. You waste time by running the ball. And I believe that the Texans can do that. I think that they'll definitely show up on offense. I think that Deshaun Watson is not intimidated by Mahomes. I think Watson believes he is just as good, if not better, and he should believe that. And he has all the tools in the makings to go stride by stride for stride with Mahomes. It's going to come down to the other things, such as coaching and defense for the Texans. In that playoff game last year, Bill O'Brien completely botched that game. He made some awful calls that really turned the momentum of that game and got the Chiefs going. He can't do that again. If he does, the Texans stand no chance. See, you can't beat your own self when playing a team like the Chiefs. You just can't do it. They're too good. You have to play your game. You have to play your best possible game, and you do not beat yourself. You do not turn the ball over. I like Kansas City to win the game, but I like Houston to cover that 0.9 spread. I think that it's a close game, a field goal 5-point type game, but I would not be surprised if Houston won it. That's why I'm not I'm not betting on this game or anything like that, but I think Kansas City wins, but I think it's close by a field goal or so. So that's my prediction. Hope everyone enjoys that game. Let's get into the player predictions. All right, ready? Drum roll, please. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom. I hope that sounded like a drum. Let's start with this one. Comeback player of the year, Ben Roethlisberger. Look, I've been saying it all year, all offseason. I'm high on Big Ben having a great season. And I know I keep beating this same take like a drum just over and over, but he has the weapons. And if that team can go 8-8 with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, why can't they go 11-5? Why can't they go 12-4, 10-6 with Big Ben? I fully believe they can. I fully believe Big Ben can get back to his normal self. And I liked Cam Newton here too. There was a lot of good options for comeback player of the year, but Ben edged out Cam Newton in this category. While I think Cam will have a very good year, I think the Steelers as a whole will have a better year than the Patriots, which will then lead Big Ben into winning this award. So Big Ben gets my comeback player of the year award. Now, defensive player of the year. Let's stick around with the Steelers. Defensive player of the year. You know who I'm taking? TJ Watt. That's right. No, not JJ Watt. Not the JJ Watt, his brother that has won defensive player of the year twice. No. TJ Watt, his younger brother. A beast. Guys, since TJ has entered the league in 2017, he had 7 sacks in 2017. He had 13 sacks in 2018. And then he had 14.5 sacks in 2019 with 2 interceptions. He just gets better and better by the year. That defense is really good, which means he's going to have more opportunity to rush the passer. That defensive line is so good. That the defenders in the back, the defensive backs are so good that he's going to have more time to get to that quarterback, more freedom to get to that quarterback, and that is scary for any offense going up against them. I like TJ Watt to keep rising on that sacks, maybe get 16, 17, 18 sacks this year, couple interceptions, and the Steelers, as I predicted, make the playoffs. TJ Watt could definitely be in line for defensive player of the year. Now, offensive rookie of the year, J.K. Dobbins. All right, this is kind of going off the walls here, right? Not going full chalk. J.K. Dobbins. Many thought that Dobbins should have been taken in the first round. Many thought that Dobbins was the best running back coming out of college this year, and his resume would tell you that. 3 years at Ohio State, broke 1,000 yards rushing every single year. Last year as a junior, broke 2,000 yards rushing, ran for 2,003 yards, 21 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? And on top of all of that, he gets drafted by the best running system, by the best running game in college. In the NFL, in the Baltimore Ravens, a team that averaged 300 yards on the ground last year, the most in NFL history. I love Mark Ingram, but I think that come couple weeks in, this is J.K. Dobbins' backfield. He becomes the starting running back, and I think he doesn't look back from there. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Isaiah Simmons, one of the most versatile players I've ever seen in my life. I talked about him when I picked the Cardinals in my third wild card spot. He can play so many different positions. He's so versatile. I think he's going to have a huge impact for that Cardinals team, and that's a big reason why I picked them to make the playoffs because of Isaiah Simmons. MVP, most valuable player, we keep talking about him, but it's Deshaun Watson. Look, I know I'm going out on a limb on this one, but follow me here. I already told y'all I have them as the 3 seed in the AFC. So that means they would have lost their best weapons in Hopkins and still perform just as good, if not better. Look, I actually think that this could be good for Watson. It's that whole addition by subtraction method, right? And let me explain, because in no way am I saying that the Texans are a better football team without Hopkins. Hopkins is a really good wide receiver, top 3 wide receiver in the league. But when you have a star wide receiver like that, you get into this rhythm, you get into this comfort zone of always being able to just throw up the ball and he'll make a play, right? You just know it. So it ends up, you start forcing the ball. You start forcing the ball when there's actually other receivers and there's actually better plays out there, but you force it to the guy because why not? He's Hopkins. He's a beast. But now that he's gone, and you bring in other guys, and you have a bunch of speedster, it's going to force Watson to spread the whole field. It's going to force him to look all around. It's not going to force him to throw balls when he shouldn't be throwing them. I really like Watson this year. I think he's going to be even more hungry after getting that contract. He's just that type of person. Give me Deshaun Watson, a little out-of-the-norm pick, to win the most valuable player, the MVP. Coach of the Year, Bill Belichick. Look, I have to stick with my prediction of them winning the AFC East, and if he did that, if they do that, then that means this will be the best coaching performance of Bill Belichick's entire career, and that means he has to win Coach of the Year. It's that simple. There's not much more I need to say about it. Coach of the Year for Bill Belichick, because I believe he's going to coach these boys to getting to another playoff berth and another AFC East victory. All right. Let's end off the show, the last show before the NFL season kicks off on Thursday with the top 4 players entering 2020. Number 4, Aaron Donald. Look, come on. This guy is an absolute monster. He is the hardest defender to game plan for in the entire NFL right now, and it's been like that for the last 3 years. He's the best defender in football. He's just so scary. He'll come at you in so many different ways. He's big but fast. He's big but versatile. I've never seen a player like Aaron Donald. He's the 4th best player in the NFL. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Look, in the long term, I think Watson is going to be the better quarterback. But for right now, Lamar Jackson has everything he needs around him to be successful. He's in a perfect situation, and I think he would be good enough to be successful anywhere, but he's in a perfect situation. I love Lamar Jackson to have another big year. He is my 3rd best player in the NFL. Number 2, Russell Wilson. I mean, the guy does it all. Seattle would be picking in the top 5, top 10 every single year if it wasn't for Russell Wilson. All he's done is won since he's entered the league, and that's all he's going to keep doing. And number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Come on. How can you not pick Patrick Mahomes after the year he had, after the postseason he had? That guy is on a mission. That guy is one of the best NFL players I've already seen at such a young age. He has the arm talent. He has the talent around him. He's another example of a perfect young quarterback in a very perfect system for him. He's got a great coach. He's got a good defense. The city of Kansas City loves him, and he's just going to keep on balling. He is the best player in the NFL entering the 2020 season in my mind. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all like my predictions. I love y'all's predictions. And let's have some fun. Let's watch some football. You guys know who it is. Thank you so much for listening to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show, write a nice review. It really helps. It really, really does. We love it. We really appreciate it. Also, if you can, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit that little bell when you go to YouTube or even on your Apple Podcast or whatever, and that will give you a notification whenever a new episode drops. Thank you. Have a great night. Enjoy some Thursday night football. We'll be back on Saturday to discuss what happened in that game and then get you set and ready to go for all the Sunday slate of games coming up. Have a great one. Let's go. The NFL is back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.